What is going on, webheads? My name is Noah Booker. Welcome back to my channel. So, after a week and a day delay, I'm here to give you guys my review or breakdown for the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer. I was actually out last week on vacation to the beach with my girlfriend and her family, but I'm finally back here home in the studio, and I want to give you guys my breakdown for Spider-Man No Way Home. Up front, I think this is a great teaser trailer. It tells us nothing, but also shows us a lot, in my opinion. And I think that's a good thing. Kevin Feige did say we'd get a trailer before the movie came out. He wasn't lying. But I'm glad it's here. I definitely want to go ahead and break it down. So without further ado, guys, if you're new here, maybe leave a like, a comment, and subscribe. And if you're not new here and you're a subscriber, welcome back. Glad to have you back and join the channel. But with all that out of the way, guys, let's go ahead and jump into my thoughts for Spider-Man No Way Home. So this trailer actually begins, I think, where the last movie left off, with Peter and MJ finally a couple and embracing each other. I'm just enjoying being a couple, but I still think this takes place a little bit after the end of the last movie because if you didn't know, Mysterio mysteriously, or I think faked his death and told the world who Spider-Man really was. And that has always been a great thing about Spidey, is that he has that duality. He is a superhero, but he's also just a kid. But when Mysterio unleashed the knowledge that the world that, hey, Peter Parker is Spider-Man, that throws a whole new wrench into how his character works and operates. And I was really intrigued of how they would actually handle that in this movie. And I'm glad they're taking the approach they are. And I think it's really smart the way Peter is reacting and how we might actually see him evolve in this movie. Because, hey, all bets are off. Everybody knows who he is, everybody knows who his loved ones are, and that is dangerous because anybody could come up and be like, "Hey, I know who his parents are, or I know who MJ is, I know who Ned is," and they can hurt them. So I think that's really what is driving Peter to meet Doctor Strange later in the trailer and say, "Hey, I need your help. I want the people to forget who I am. I want things to go back to normal," and that will be the driving force behind this whole movie. And I know by the end of the trailer, everything is bonkers, unleashing the multiverse, but I think at the core of this movie, it's still about Peter and staying true to himself. And I think that is really smart because I'll be honest, I'm not a huge fan of the other two Spidey-Man movies in the MCU. I think they're okay. I think they're fun, but they just have nothing on the Tobey Maguire trilogy. But I'm really hoping this movie can knock it out of the park and make me a true Tom Holland Spider-Man fan. As we move a little bit further in the trailer, we actually see Peter in police custody, and he is seen with a man that you don't see his face in a white shirt. I think this is Daredevil. It has to be. He's been rumored, he's been teasing himself that, hey, he's in this movie, and I think this is actually one of the scenes that they went back and reshot just a few months ago to add more Daredevil in the movie. I don't know if he's going to suit up in this movie. I would like to think he would by the end of it because Spidey's going up against the Sinister Six. He's going to need all the help he can get. And with the other two Spider-Man showing up, will it be enough? Who knows? But I do think that is Matt. It has to be. And I'm super glad that the Netflix series is finally, seeping over into the actual MCU. Kevin Feige has a gold mine on his hands with those characters, and I'm glad they are finally showing up where they're supposed to be. So I think after, going through the process of going through the court system and everything like that, Peter Parker's gonna be like, you know what? I have to get outside help because I can't do this. I can't put the people in my life at harm's risk, and who knows who else is out to get me at this point. And at that time, he meets Doctor Strange again. They've worked together, Avengers, as Doctor Strange says. He's like, hey, we saved the world together. You can ask me anything. I'm not totally sure this is actually Doctor Strange. He just seems off, in my opinion. I'm not saying it's Mephisto, but I do think it's actually Mephisto. He's been teased so much between WandaVision and Loki. I think Kevin Feige knows we want to see him in this world. I definitely want to see him because that just means we're closer to Ghost Rider. I say that in all my Marvel movies. I'm sorry, all my Marvel videos. But please, Kevin Feige, for the love of God, just put Ghost Rider in the MCU. But getting back on track, I think the reason Doctor Strange is acting weird, he actually agrees to do the spell, which is even more bizarre in my opinion that he would put the world and the universe at risk doing this spell, is because I don't think it's actually him. Or if it is, it's another Doctor Strange from another universe. But who actually knows? But I think that's how the multiverse actually gets opened, or in this case, the Spideyverse gets open, is through this spell because Peter tampers with it, or Doctor Strange, or the not so Doctor Strange, messes up the spell or does a totally different spell and just unleashes the multiverse. So at this point in the trailer, everything goes off the rails. We see a lot of Spider-Man and Doctor Strange action together, whether it's on the trains and they do like the spell where it's multiple trains, or we see Spidey in the actual black and gold suit, which we actually saw a while back, and the Funko Pops and toys that were released really early. I think this is at the point where Spidey and Doctor Strange are kind of having to travel through the multiverse or the Spider Verse and try to put things back in order. Because I think the way this is going to work with the Sinister Six setup is that they're going to be pulled from different multiverses or different universes. They're not all coming from the same one. Yes, we do actually see Sandman, in my opinion, and Electro. It's been confirmed that Jamie Foxx is back. There have been some images that have been leaked of him. I'm not going to show them because Sony loves to ban videos for that type of stuff. But we do see him, and I do think that's Sandman from the Raimi trilogy. We end up seeing, of course, the Green Goblin, Detonator, the pumpkin bomb from the Sam Raimi first Spider-Man movie. And of course, at the very end, we do get to see Doc Ock from the Sam Raimi trilogy. I think they're all from different multiverses. I don't think they're the same characters we saw from the Sam Raimi verse. And with that leading into my next point, I don't think that Andrew Garfield and the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man we're going to see in this movie are the ones we saw in their respected movies. I think they're going to be sort of the same characters, but have had different things happen to them. Hence why Doc Ock and the Green Goblin and Electro and Sandman are still alive and still kicking. I think with all of this coming together, they're pulling from different multiverses and coming together. Like, hey, we have a chance to finally take Spider-Man down. Let's join up and let's become the Sinister Six, which I'm very excited to see how that plays out on screen. So the last thing I want to talk about in my trailer breakdown is actually something we didn't even see in the trailer, and that is the other Spider-Men or Spider-People. I don't know who will end up seeing this movie. I think it's a given we'll see Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man and Andrew Garfield's. I was really hoping we see Tobey's at the end of the movie, the end of the trailer, just pop up. But who knows? It might be some CGI magic where we actually seen them in the trailer. They're just removed because Kevin Feige likes to do that with his trailers. Who knows? But I was really hoping they would do that. I'm kind of glad they didn't show us because that just means, when we get into the movie theater, it's going to be even a bigger surprise. We do see some of the villains, like I just talked about. I think that's a good indicator to the modern regular audience that may not be as into the Marvel Cinematic Universe as some of us are, like myself. That's an indicator, like, hey, I recognize those characters from other movies. That's really cool. They brought them back, and if you watch Loki at the end of that series, they open up the multiverse. So I think that's a good indication of how they're actually going to elaborate on this multiverse, because I think that's one of the strongest things that Marvel has going for it right now, especially after the Infinity Saga. So kudos to Marvel and Sony for working out this deal to make this, in my opinion, going to be the biggest and the ultimate Spider-Man movie. So I'm really glad and excited to see what comes from this. So guys, those are just some of my thoughts and a quick breakdown for the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer. I think this trailer is fantastic. I'm so excited for this movie. It's my most anticipated movie for the rest of the year. Guys, I cannot tell you enough that this movie is going to be absolutely crazy. I just think that Kevin Feige is just totally going off the walls with this one. No pun intended. But that's all I have to say, guys. If you have any questions, please leave a comment down below. Maybe I can do a breakdown on the multiverse and some of what be coming down the line with Doctor Strange's Multiverse of Madness and stuff like that. But if you're new here, please leave a like, a comment, subscribe. It really helps me out. We're so close to 50 subscribers. I would love to do a full day's worth of videos for DC Fandom. I think that's one of the Saturdays in October. I'm really looking forward to that. A lot of great videos coming from that, of course, with the Batman and such. But that's all I really have for you guys today. So with all that out of the way, guys, hope you have a great day. Hope you stay blessed. And I'll see you next time. Peace out, Spideys.